Hello, how's everybody doing tonight? Or whatever time of day it is for you. I see Warevo is on again today. Hello. So today, we are going to be learning some more Japanese. 'Cause why not? Now, you shouldn't have to, study Japanese at the rate that I am, putting out these streams. This should be done for, a later time. And I know Twitch doesn't save those VODs indefinitely, but that's why we have the YouTube channel as well. Because YouTube does save VODs. And even if it didn't, I'm recording these streams anyway. Released your first test video today, huh? How did it go? I just want to say, if you haven't played Kirby's Block Ball, it has a pretty awesome soundtrack in my opinion. I think you should give it a listen. I know it's not like a mainline Kirby game. It was one of the many spin-offs that was released on the Game Boy. But if you like Breakout with a Kirby twist, well, you could always play it. Actually, is it on the Switch Virtual? Oh, it's not called the Virtual Console. It's just Nintendo Switch Online, I guess. But is Kirby's Block Ball on there? I wonder. Okay, apparently it's not on there. Yet. Who knows when it'll come up, you know? It was on the 3DS, though. You're still working on a few issues. My first videos are going to be gameplay only for now until I get some better equipment. Yeah, that's a start. I know my setup isn't really the best. You can hear a lot of noise when I'm speaking. There's not really much I can do about that other than try to find a new mic. Preferably one that is not attached to headphones. But I'm a frugal croc. I'm not really going to do that. When I record for YouTube, I'm just going to be using Audacity's noise canceling. So that's worked for me for a while, so that's what I'm gonna keep on doing. At least you can record mic audio. Alright. I think we shall start our Japanese lessons now. Oh, but first, we might as well go over a little something. Alright, so let's see here. I'm gonna bring this up. Alright, so I wanted to show Anki. So, if you're learning Japanese, chances are you've heard of this application. This is a sort of flashcard application that you can use. And, yeah, it's a special kind of flashcard program called an SRS, a spaced repetition system. So basically how that works is that whenever you state that you have memorized the card, it will space out gradually when the cards will come up again in a way so that you could memorize the word better. That's how it is in a really small nutshell. There are definitely a lot of videos that would go over Anki in more detail, but for the moment, let's just focus on how to, set it up so that we could use it in conjunction with my Japanese coach. Because, let's face it, my Japanese coach by itself is not very good for studying Japanese. I mean, there are some flaws with it, and even if you're using Anki by itself, that's still not a great idea. You want to have a way to immerse yourself in Japanese, whether it be watching anime or playing Japanese video games, watching Japanese YouTube videos, and even Japanese streamers. That would greatly help in conjunction with tools like Anki and, I guess, my Japanese coach. So, with that, the first thing you're going to want to do is, well, of course, have Anki. You can download Anki via the website apps.ankiweb.net, and you can download it on your computer, and it'll also give you the links to the App Store pages for iOS and for Android. Now, when you're searching on the App Store directly, there could be some apps that have the word Anki in them, but they're not what you're actually looking for. You want to get this one with the blue star. This is the one you want, and it's the one that everybody's talking about. So, yeah. Next, you want to download a pre-made deck. So, you would go to Get Shared here, and then you would type in, you could select Japanese, and there are these, you know what, I should just show you. Let's see, it would be great if I can see everything I was doing. Yeah, just like that. So, you could click Japanese here, and you'll be able to see all of these decks, which is a lot, so it's going to be overwhelming. So, what you basically want to look for is a 2K, 6K deck, like one of those 2000, 6000 core Japanese decks. So the deck I'm using, it'll be easier if I search 2K/6K. I've been using this optimized Japanese vocabulary. The downside to this one is that it doesn't have sound or images. Apparently it did originally, but unfortunately, I guess stuff happened when it had to be re-uploaded. That said, if you want the images and sounds, you would have to download these 3 parts of the optimized Japanese vocabulary. So, yeah, it's gonna be a bit more of a hassle. Um, there's also this one about pitch graphs, but let's not worry about that for right now, especially since we would have audio anyway. Or, you would probably encounter those words through your immersion if you're doing it right. So, with that, I'll minimize that, and then we're going to import the decks that you would have downloaded. So you would click Import File. Unfortunately, I have to click them one at a time. I'm not sure if this has to be toggled on, but I'll toggle it on anyhow. You don't have to worry about the updates here, especially if you're starting fresh. Click Import. Close that off. And we're going to import the other two. There we go. All right, next we're gonna click Browse. And of course, it would be easiest if we just merged these decks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in the Browse search bar here, deck : asterisk. The asterisk here means all. So search all decks. So now we have our 6,000, well, almost 6,000. It says 5,999 cards. And what we're going to do here is we're going to select all of them. Going to click Cards. We're going to click Add. We're going to give it a new deck name. We'll just shorten it to Core 2K 6K. Yeah, we'll just shorten it to that for simplicity's sake. And now with that, we are going to... Now we're going to want to sort these. I mean, I don't think you really have to. I think it might work fine right out of the box. But I think repositioning them would work best. So I'm going to select all and then right-click select reposition. Konnichiwa. It's konnichiwa. It's a K, just so you know. All right, with that, we are going to have the start position be, yeah, it can be 0. Step 1. I mean, I'm not going to randomize the order. That's not advised. Let's click OK. Oh, wait, hang on. These were already sorted like this. I made a mistake. What I'm actually wanting to do is select one of the cards here, and we're going to click Fields. We're going to make it so optimized vocab index, or optimized voc index, is the sort field. So under options, we're going to click sort by this field in the browser. And then we have these numbers here. It seems for the most part, they're already sorted. It's just the ones at the bottom. Yeah, I don't know why it's sorted like that. But what I actually want to do is I'm going to sort this by sort field, ascending, so that 1 is at the top. Now we are going to select all and reposition, do the thing we did before, click OK. That way we can learn what is considered by the optimized voc index as the most important or most common word that is used in the Japanese language. At least that's how I think it works. So, as you can see, the most important one to learn first is sore, which means that or that one. It is considered a pronoun. So let's take a look at the card that we have. So as you can see, it plays the... Oh wait, that's right. This isn't actually what it's going to look like at first. I actually changed it to be this way. So you can click on this to replay the audio, and then we flip it over. So we get the definition, we get an image for context for this sentence. それはとってもいい話だ. That's a really nice story. So, as you can see right here, I am using kanji here because it's actually best to get exposed to kanji as early as possible, because that's what the Japanese use a lot. Thankfully, you can read the kana above the kanji, so you'll know how to read it. So anyhow, it wasn't initially like this. I had to do some HTML and CSS magic to get the card the way I want it to. Now, I think I'm gonna zoom in here so that you can see exactly what it is I typed. So I guess I can just leave this hanging for a minute or two. Or, you know, you could just pause and you can always catch up later. So basically what this means is that vocabulary audio, the audio will be starting first. And then we have span, which is basically a... how do I describe this? Let's call it a building block. It's a building block that we set up first, which is our word that we are trying to learn. So we want to use vocabulary furigana, or it could be vocabulary kanji or kana, depending on how you want it to, just so long as it has the it matches one of the fields. Now, I did a little bit of styling here. You don't have to worry about that, but it would make reviewing things look a little neater. And then we want to go to the back template. So when we flip the card over, it says front side here because we still want to see the front side. Alright, this is here by default. We have the horizontal rule, this line, that is called answer. We have our building block for the English definition, our building block for I don't know what POS stands for. Well, it could be a pronoun, a noun, a verb, an adjective, that sort of thing. Let's see. Then we have caution in case I want to put down any notes on that, though I probably don't need this. Have the image next. I'm putting in 2 sentence breaks here, or line breaks. We have our building block with the example sentence. Then we have our building block for the sentence translation. And then these notes. POS could be possessive noun, but a possessive noun would be, actually, what would be an example of a possessive noun? I know in Japanese there's a possessive particle, which is just the kana no. So, yeah, anyhow, that's what it all looks like. Now, the styling here, this is basically just the default, but I changed just a few things. I changed the background color to none. I got rid of the colors on the card, so if I wanted to have it on night mode, that wouldn't, like, mess with anything. Excuse me. And I also made the line height 1.5 EM. I won't go into detail what an M is, but it just makes everything look neater and not so squished. But anyhow, that's my setup. Now, if you've already been doing, hang on, I need to shrink this down again. I guess I can have it cover my face a little bit there. Now, if you've been using, actually, let me go into fields and sort by vocabulary kanji once again. If you've been using My Japanese Coach, then there are definitely some words that you already know. So you could just type them in. Some of them I could just find here because what we've learned is already common. We've learned kore and sore. We've learned the numbers. Oh, that actually will be a problem. I'll leave those. I'll get back to that one. That's 7. I've stated before that 7 has 2 readings that you'll see. Alright, let's just start with those, and then we will go to cards set due date. If you have just learned them, you can set the number here to 1. Maybe type the exclamation point if you want, but it might be a good idea to put it at 0 if you haven't learned it the same day. So we'll just do that. And now we can sort by due date. Alright, I won't go over this too much, but I think you get the idea for how you can set this up. For stuff like the colors, assuming you don't have any other decks, all you really need to do is type in the word that you already know. I think you have to do this. Oh, actually, you know what? I could just type the word in English. Like, for example, red. Now, I already know the kana for it, so I could just click that. If you were having trouble, like, if you don't want to use kanji right now, you could go to Fields, Vocabulary, Kana, sort by this field in the browser, and then you can actually see the kana, which would be plenty easier for somebody who isn't familiar with kanji. So we can click this, click Set Due Date, hit 0. And then we can do the same for blue. We want to look for aoi. Aoi. And then do the same thing. And I think that's enough. You get the idea. Let me just set this back up. And I'll close that. All right, I'm just going to delete these because, well, we took out all the cards from them. And then we can just study our cards that we've learned. Now, if you want to, we can have Anki give us new cards if you want. You should probably do this after you've done your 100 lessons in My Japanese Coach. That may not be the best advice, but yeah, do whatever you want. I suppose I am like teaching without a script here after all. This is just all on the spot. So, yeah, if you want to learn new cards, you could just increase today's new card limit and increase the amount by however many you want and click OK. I'm not going to do that, but that is how you can get started with Anki in a nutshell. Oh, one more thing though. In preferences, actually, is there anything in preferences that is important? No, not really. Did I create Anki? No, I did not. This has been around for years. I did, however, customize the shared deck that I have downloaded for Anki. The great thing about Anki is that it is customizable. You can even have some add-ons on there to give a little flair to your interface or to give yourself like a kanji list to tick off any kanji that you have learned. So that's really nice. There's even an add-on where you can like turn your Japanese study or whatever into a sort of Pokemon game. So if you really love Pokemon, you can do that. So, yeah, okay, the thing I wanted to do is under options. Yeah. If you want to learn a set number of cards per day, you can set it here. Maximum reviews I've set to 9,999. There's a reason for that, but I don't really want to go into it. I think if this is how I am with speaking about topics for the first time. Okay, I might as well go over it. You don't want to skip any reviews because how Anki works is that it tries to bring a card back into memory when it thinks you are going to forget it based on certain algorithms. Especially so, it would be more accurate, the algorithm, with FSRS on, which you probably should do. Now, I have no idea what this desired retention is. I just keep it at 90%. I think maybe you want to have it a little bit higher, a little bit lower. Depends. Just fine-tune it just a little bit. See what works best for you. But anyway, considering we have, I guess let's say if we have our maximum reviews at 200. There might be a card that you're, going to forget, but with 200 max reviews a day, that 201st word will not show up until, I believe, the next day. I could be wrong about this, and because of that, it would be easier to forget that. I think that's what I've been told by several sources. By several, I mean Trenton and Jozu Jules. Which, by the way, you should check out the both of them. They're good for an introduction to Japanese. Alright, I think we've idled around here a bit longer than I would have liked. I think it's time to actually get started with my Japanese coach. So, let's see, I'll close this off. And let's actually get into our game. That really did take longer than I would have liked. Alright. You know, this was only for testing purposes. I could just delete this profile. Alright. With that, it's time for lesson 11. And that is going to be a very important lesson because we're going to learn about the word yes. But while we're at it, let's learn about Shinjuku Gyoen. The gardens are a favorite hanami spot. Hanami is cherry blossom viewing, and large crowds can be found in the park during cherry blossom season. Alright, so let's go to this. Now it's time to start making sentences. Just basic ones for now, though. The most basic thing you need to know is that sentences in Japanese are not ordered in the same way as English sentences. Be sure to remember that. In English, the order has the subject first, then the verb, and the object of the sentence last. I am fast. Subject I, verb am, object fast. A subject is the thing that does the verb, and the object is the rest of the sentence. I am fast, as you see. The English ordering of the subject, verb, object can be shortened to SVO. Japanese sentences are ordered differently. The verb always goes last. The ordering is SOV, subject, object, verb. In Japanese, the example sentence, I am fast, would have the following ordering, I fast am. If you want to know how to say that in Japanese, it would be, Watashi wa hayai desu. Or, wait. That's, yeah, I think that's correct. I'm trying to figure out if, on the spot, if des is A is B or A does B. So it's Yoda speak. Pretty much. Oh, by the way, may the 4th be with you. Yeah, today is May 4th, Star Wars Day. Not that I'm really into Star Wars, I'm afraid of getting into that because, well, I know the fan base could be... Anyway, moving on. The words am, is, and are in Japanese are all the same word, des, regardless of the subject. Looking forward to Revenge of the Fifth. That makes sense. So in English, we have the following partial sentences. I am, he is, they are. In Japanese, they would be watashi desu, kare desu, karera desu. Remember that the des goes last. The only thing different between these 3 sentences are the subjects. Technically, des isn't a verb, but it fits in the same place when looking at sentence structure. So it isn't a verb, I guess. I'll have to look into that word a little more, I suppose. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like a truncation of dearu or something, although I'm pretty sure that's just da. But, yeah, let's not worry about that right now. I'm kind of a sucker for what's it called? Etymology. Like, etymology and linguistics. So, if I want to know, like, what something is... Tip with Star Wars, avoid the live-action Disney stuff. Rebels and the Clone Wars series are good. Alright, so I guess with that, here's some words that will be useful in basic sentences. The word for this can be used as a subject. Also note that the U is silent on des. I think some dialects might pronounce the U and say desu, but you'll often hear just des. So, yeah, for those who are saying kawaii desu, no, it's kawaii des. Okay? Good? Okay. Oh. Way to contradict yourself, game. Well, I did say dialects could have the oo audible, so... Anyway, with that, let's move on to some other new words. For man, we have... Otoko no hito. Otoko no hito. Otoko no hito. Otoko no hito. I'm having a little bit of trouble pronouncing that. And then for woman, we have... Onna no hito. Onna no hito. For child, we have just ko. And then for American, we've actually took a sneak peek of this before. If we want to say we are American, we would say we are
アメリカ人
Amerikajin. So, I'm going to move on ahead a little bit with something, but, if you are exposed to kanji already, hito
男の人
and
アメ
jin
リカ人
actually use the same kanji. It's, I'm not sure if you could see my cursor. I think you can. Oh, yeah, now we can. It would be drawn like that. Actually, let me put this. Hito and Jin would be written like this. You might even see it like this, where the, it goes like straight down for a little bit, but typically in writing it's a little slant like this. But yeah, that kanji is the same for hito and jin because it conveys the meaning of person or people. Makes sense. Especially when we see that a man, a woman, they are both people. Oh, hello, Turnus. Ah, I see. That one... that's tricky. I kind of forgot about that. That kanji... That's the kanji for to enter. That... Yeah, they're kanji that look very similar. The one that has this goes straight up or leaning more towards the right, that means person. But the one with the top leaning to the left, that's actually the kanji for enter. So you'll have to be careful with that. So anyway, we got the 5 words. To be, this. Man, otoko no hito. Woman, onna no hito. Child, ko. And American,
アメリ
Amerikajin. Or it could be America person, if you want to think of it like that. Many of these words are common objects, and Japanese people are certainly common in Japan.
日本人
Nihonjin. Nihonjin. That is the word for a Japanese person. So, as before, we have America person. Over here, Nihonjin, we have Japan person. Nihon is Japan in Japanese, just so you know. And then we have 4 common objects that we'll see. Chair,
椅子
isu, car,
車
kuruma, which is actually fairly easy to remember because it almost looks like it almost sounds like it has car in the name. Kuruma. For book, we have
本
hon. House, we have
家
ie. I've stated before that ie for no might be shortened to just ie in casual conversation. So, but you likely will not get that mixed up with house because of context. Otherwise, that'd be really weird. Take a minute to get used to these new words, then we'll start using them in sentences. So, we'll review these words with multiple choice. ご主人の国はどちらですか? Ah, what country do I come from? Let's see. アメリカからです。I'm yeah. I see you've been studying Japanese as well. All right. So we'll do multiple choice to be. Oh my goodness. I really don't like how multiple choice doesn't have the kana.
こ
It always has the romaji.
女の人日本人アメリカ人男の人本
家、
家
車、
車
椅子、
椅子
JLPTN2 wakaru. Ah, so you're up to JLPTN2. Fascinating. To be honest, I haven't been keeping up with the JLPT system during my Japanese studies because there's some words that are very commonly used, but they're not like in the lower JLPT sects. So, because of that, I don't typically, well, I guess I shouldn't ignore the JLPT when it comes to learning grammar, because, well, that could be pretty important. 使わない言葉、そうね。Unusable words, huh? Yeah. Alright. So you get the idea with multiple choice. So let's start using des in sentences. We just need to cover one more thing. Particles. These are very small words that come after a word. They tell you the context of the word they follow. We're only going to cover one particle right now. That particle is wa. Written as ha, but spoken as wa. Wa is used to tell people tell you what word is the topic or main subject of the sentence. Okay, scratch main subject. Just think of wa as the topic marker. It's to show what both you and the listener are already familiar with. So, like, you're already familiar with me, so I would use watashi wa. But if there's, like, a certain person that like, you don't know about, but I know about, you would use the particle ga to sort of introduce that person as new information. That's at least what I got from watching Game Gengo's video about wa versus ga. Because those are two very commonly confused particles, and even I stumble on it sometimes. And from what I hear, even Japanese people might stumble with wa and ga sometimes. But sometimes in conversation, you don't even need that particle. You could just drop the particle altogether, so that makes speaking very convenient. I don't actually remember what that kanji means. But it's you. So what is the topic of this sentence? これは車です. This, これ. If you said the topic was これ, then you were right. If you said it was 車, then you need to remember that the particle goes after what it is attached to. What about this sentence? What word is the topic? Yamada-san wa otoko no hito desu. Also, what is the translation of this sentence? So the topic here is Yamada-san, Mr. Yamada, or it could be Miss Yamada. First person pronoun used by emperors or demon lords and such. Oh, well, no wonder I'm not familiar with that. I haven't played Final Fantasy in Japanese enough to see that. Anyway, Yamada-san is a man. Yeah, there you go. Actually, now that I think about it, we haven't learned the san suffix just yet, so there's a little bit of a sneak peek for that. San is a polite way to refer to someone. It's basically like saying Mr., Miss, Mrs. Is this starting to feel a little more comfortable? Try making your own sentences. Putting it together on your own is a very effective way of learning Japanese. So, I guess this is something I could talk about with my Japanese coach. This game encourages you to make sentences on your own. I have heard there was a review I saw on Game FAQs where somebody was making an argument of if people are going to be making sentences on their own, then why not just get yourself a textbook? Which covers a lot more ground than this game does. And I suppose that's valid. I'm not sure how much textbooks, those kinds of textbooks had cost back in the day versus my Japanese coach, or now. I'm sure my Japanese coach could go for pretty cheap nowadays, because people would want to learn Japanese in other ways, most likely. I'll have to look that up sometime. I think you've earned a new game to practice with. Enjoy. Oh, memory. This one I actually really like. You gotta do some, like, quick thinking here. There's a blue card, I think that is the English word, and then there's a red card, and the red cards are Japanese words. You gotta match them just right. That's what that is. So this is how it works. Oh.
男の人
Amerikajin. We saw des.
です。
Onna no
女
hito.
の人
I think I saw isu somewhere. Oh, that's ie. Amerikajin. Right
ア
here.
メリカ人
Ie.
家
Nihonjin.
日本人
Kuruma.
子車椅子本
There we go. You could go pretty far with free resources. Yeah, I know. There are way more free resources nowadays than ever before, which is awesome. So yeah, memory really kind of forces you to get your gears turning, but on harder difficulties, there might just not be enough time for you to get all the cards that you need. So that's something to be careful about. But that's definitely my most played minigame during my starting journey with Japanese, playing this game. Next time we'll learn how to change des into the negative, past tense, and negative past tense. I can't wait! Well, Why wait? I'm already playing this on a completed profile, so let's just go right into the tenses of des. While the use of des is still fresh in your mind, I want to show you how you can change it around to make even more sentences. We'll be changing the tense of the words to make even more sentences. First, let's cover the past tense form of des. Past tense is where we talk about something that has already happened. The past tense form of des is deshita, which it is used in the same place that des would be.
これは車です。これは車でした。
So there's the difference. これは車です。
これは車です。
This is a car. これは車でした。This was a car. Now it's scrap, I guess. Just like des, deshita doesn't care who or what the topic is.
私でした。
Watashi deshita. I was.
彼らでした。
Karera deshita. It was them. Or they were? I guess either could work. The negative form can be thought of as isn't.
ではありません。
De wa arimasen.
彼らでした。
Don't know why they decided to repeat the sentence here. But, yeah, de wa arimasen is, yeah, that is the negative form of des. Wow, you really failed when it comes to, like, if you want to say it wasn't or it isn't them, changing this around, we would say, karera de wa arimasen. You kinda done goofed there, game. The past negative form is a combination of the negative form and the past form. It is de wa arimasen deshita. Yeah, it's a little long for somebody just starting out, but we'll become familiar with it in time. To recap, the different forms are present positive, des, past positive, deshita, present negative, de wa arimasen, past negative, de wa arimasen deshita. Note, the wa here is supposed to be the particle wa, written as ha. The most Japanese I know is Gojira and Toyota. You probably heard some others. If we're going with car companies, why not Mitsubishi? Or Honda. Those are Japanese. Notice that there's no future tense of des. Don't worry about it for now. Spoiler alert. Future tense is the same as present tense. Let's get some new words for you. We've already covered 2 of these. So we saw deshita
でした。
and de wa arimasen.
ではありません。
De wa arimasen deshita is not really needed, it seems, but if it would have been way too long anyway. Now we have girl,
女の子。
onnanoko, and boy,
男の子。
tokonoko. Now, you might think these sound familiar, and yeah, that is true. That we've encountered otoko and onna before. Otoko noko, otoko no hito. Otoko noko, boy, otoko no hito, man. Onna noko, girl, onna no hito, woman. Makes sense, doesn't it? And for animal, we have
動物。
dobutsu. And one more group of words. Energetic is a commonly used word in Japanese that we'll be revisiting on the question lessons.
元気。
Genki. Genki doesn't just mean energetic, it also means healthy or well. I'm basically going to spoil the part of the lesson right now, but oftentimes people will ask Genki desu ka? This is a way of them asking how are you? Are you feeling well? And you might respond, Hi, Genki desu. And those are all words we're familiar with already. So, yay! Alright. Hito. We've just covered this already.
Eigo.
Eigo. This is English, and Japanese is
Nihongo.
Nihongo. So we've already covered that Nihon is Japan. Go would be the suffix, basically, for a language. Well, eventually we would learn the kanji for go. I don't think it's actually covered in one of the 100 lessons of this, but yeah, just know that that's how they're kind of together. And we have
Neko.
Neko. Alright, let's get some playing in. Do our memory game. Wait, what was this? Dobutsu.
動物。
Neko.
猫。
Genki.
元気。
Alright, where was it? Oh, otoko.
男の子。
Oh. Eigo.
英語。
Hito.
と。
Onnanoko.
女の子。
ではあります。Oh,
では
yes.
ありません。
Ah. Yeah, you really gotta just act quickly. You gotta know those words. It really helps in just, like, digging it down into your brain. But these are words I am well familiar with anyhow, so I just need to learn to read Japanese faster, which I'm sure isn't very easy. Just so you know, it's not easy for even Japanese people to read kana faster. That's actually one of the benefits for having kanji in the Japanese language. So we can kind of just see the kanji right there, and we can just use the kana around it, perceive it as particles, like having some modifier with what the kanji is saying. Anyhow, let's practice with a few sentences. Oh, speaking of kanji, they just introduced it to us prematurely again. Alright, so the man was a boy.
男の人は男の子でした。
男の人は男の子でした. The man was a boy. And the cat isn't a girl.
猫は女の子ではありません。
Neko wa onna no ko de wa arimasen. So, yeah, I mean, it is easier to read this way, and you can actually get a feeling of, you know, this is otoko and this is otoko. So, yeah, that makes sense. Although, I don't get why they decided to give us the kanji for neko. The kanji for neko, we actually learned the kanji for dog, inu, as one of the first kanji, not only in the JLPT, but also Japanese people learn that in first grade. But you don't learn neko until, like, years later. Like, I don't remember if it's, like, a grade 6 or a high school Joyo kanji. I just find it really weird that the dog one comes in so early and the cat one comes up so late. It's just weird to me. Anyhow, do you see how they are used in sentences? Remember, the topic, well, in those cases, the topic, but yeah, subject, topic. Don't think of the subject and the topic as the same thing. This bears repeating. That goes first, then the object, and lastly the verb. There's no Japanese word for the, so it is ignored in the Japanese sentences. Also, there are formal and informal ways of speaking in Japanese. What I've covered so far are the formal forms of des. Informal speech is what is used to talk to our friends and family younger than we are, but in most cases you should use formal speech. Here are the informal forms of des. So, yeah, for that we have da. That is the informal form of da. Oh yeah, sushi, tsunami, ninja. Those are also Japanese. Alright, so da, past positive, datta, present negative, janai, past negative, janakatta. For a little more information, ja is actually a truncation, a shortening of dewa. So, people in casual speech will often shorten dewa to just ja. Something to keep in mind, especially when you're, like, coming across vocabulary. So, some people might say sore dewa, they might shorten it to soreja, or even sorya. Something to keep in mind as you immerse yourself in Japanese material, particularly in anime. To use the informal forms of des instead of the formal forms, just replace the formal form with the informal form. Try saying that 5 times fast. It's pretty easy to change. Let's have one more game to drive the point home. Alright, multiple choice. Unfortunately, that means more romaji. Neko was deshita. Hito. Onnanoko. Doubutsu.
動物
ではありま
で
せん。
はありません。
日本語。
日本語、
男の子。
男の子、
英語。
英語、
元気。
元気、
Okay. We're going to cover more hiragana next time. We're almost done with it. Be sure to practice. Alright. Let's move on to some more hiragana. It's time for the 4th lesson on hiragana. One more lesson after this, and you'll be finished with hiragana. Don't forget to listen to the pronunciation of each character and check how to write it. Stroke order is important. Hopefully you get them right, though, game. Because you didn't write not correctly. For some reason. Alright, so we have
ま、
ma,
み、
み、
む、
む、
め、
め,
も。
mo. Let's check how to write these. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's compare. Yeah, pretty accurate. Next we have mi. I tend to struggle with writing this one, honestly. Sometimes I just like slant this down too low or like don't bend it enough over there. But yeah, that could be a pretty tricky one for me to write. Maybe not so much with you. M. Let's practice writing that again. All right, next is me. Not to be confused with nu. Remember, the nu has the squiggly at the end. Me does not. And for some reason, I tend to have a difficult time writing this one too. I keep like poking that through. Nah. You can also only hold the stylus down on the screen for so long, for some reason. I don't like that. And then we have... Oh! That is the wrong stroke order. You don't write those first. You actually write this first. Yeah, it's kind of confusing, but doing the fish hook first actually promotes better balance in a way. I've seen this on Tokini Andy's video of his Japanese wife roasting his kana. You can check that out if you want to like get good practice at writing kana. So yeah, it's supposed to be written like this, but the game writes it differently. Stroke order is important, you say. Alright, let's move on. Be sure not to confuse met with nu. Nu has a loop at the end, like I said. Now for the R series. Don't forget to check your pronunciation.
La,
La,
ri,
ri,
ru,
ru,
le,
le,
lo.
ro. Now, pronouncing R's as an English speaker can actually be pretty tricky. There's no real R sound in Japanese. What we write as R is actually a sound between R and L. This is why many speakers have trouble with R and L in English.
La,
La,
ri,
ri,
ru, le,
le,
lo.
ro. I've heard a tip for pronouncing the R's correctly in Japanese is to think of it like, think of the word butter. How we pronounce the TT in butter, it's basically how we say the R's in Japanese. Bara. Bara means rose, by the way. Bara. 情熱の赤いバラそしてジェラシー Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Atashinchi as part of my Japanese immersion. It's a good anime to watch if you want to like learn some everyday slice of life Japanese. Oh right, we gotta write these. That looks kind of like a 5 that's broken at the top. Alright, next is Ri. Now, a note about this one. You might sometimes see the hiragana ri written like this. Sometimes it's written like that, other times you'll see it like disconnected like this. Now, I've been playing some, now there are some video games that actually have the hiragana ri and the katakana ri, which look very similar, but they might actually be written the exact same. Pokemon actually had this problem on the Game Boy. So, I mean, you'll know if it's hiragana or katakana, I guess through context. But yeah, you might see ri that look like this. Ru. So it basically looks like a 3 with a loop at the end. Huh? Is that a good mnemonic or what? Alright, next is re, not to be confused with ne. Remember, ne has the loop at the end here. Re has a tail, let's say. And then we have ro. It's the number 3 without the loop. Well, I shouldn't say it is the number 3. They're written differently, but to us who, like, saw this written like, it's written like this, yeah, it pretty much looks like the number 3 to us. So, yeah, remember, ru has the loop, ro does not. It could be a little bit tricky. Alright, and as usual, we'll be practicing with fading characters. Alright, let me try writing it like this first.
Mo.
Oh, hey, that actually does work.
Mo.
I guess so long as you're on point.
Mo. Me.
Meh.
Me.
I'm sure the game would be fine recognizing meh, even if I wrote it pretty sloppily.
Ma.
Ma.
Ma. Ma.
Ma. Lo.
Lo. Lo. Lo.
Le. The
Le.
tail.
Le. Le.
M.
Mu. む
Mu can be pretty fun to write once you get the hang of it.
む
Ru. This has the loop.
るる
Mi.
みみ
Mi.
み
Ra.
ららら
Li.
り
Oh, that shouldn't have counted, but it did.
り
There we go. Ten right out of 10. Don't forget to practice the hiragana that you've already mastered. It's no good going through the alphabet if you've forgotten ABC by the time you've finished. Try to write more words in hiragana. It will really help your practice. Switch over to hiragana instead of romaji as soon as possible. How well do you remember the new hiragana characters you learned? It's time to test them out. Me.
め
M.
む
Ma.
ま
R.
る
Ro.
ろ
Mo.
も
Re.
れ
La.
ら
Mi.
み
Li.
り
Alright, there we go. Get those mastered and then we can start asking questions. Asking questions is actually very easy. How easy could it possibly be? Find out right now. Questions. Asking questions in Japanese is actually very simple. It's even easier than asking questions in English. Remember in lesson 11 when I mentioned particles? We're going to learn a new particle to make questions. This kind of particle goes at the end of a sentence. The new particle is ka. Placing it at the end of a sentence makes the sentence a question. That's the only thing that needs to change. Compare the statement and the question below.
それは本です
Sore wa hon desu. That is a book.
それは本ですか
Sore wa hon desu ka? Is that a book? So yeah, you just put in ka. Now, in casual conversation, you could just use the usual questioning inflection of your voice. And you don't have to use the particle ka. But yeah, for the most part, we'll be using ka. Now, if you're like reading or playing video games, you might encounter some sentences where they have ka at the end of a sentence, but they actually have a period after ka. It's still a question. It's just, I think it's a little softer, like more of a concern or a wonder. That's my interpretation, at least. I don't know for sure how that all works. Have you been practicing making sentences? Try making sentences as questions now. Try using these words to make questions. So we have
どこ
doko,
いつ
itsu,
どうして
doshite,
誰
dare,
何
nani. Where, when, why, who, what.
どこ
Where, doko, when,
いつ
itsu, why,
どうして
doshite. Alternatively, naze works as well.
誰
Who, dare, what,
Nani.
nani. Which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with by now, thanks to meme culture. Were you able to use them to make sentences? Try making some more sentences with these words.
お手洗い
Okay, I don't think I've ever heard in my immersion bathroom said as otearai. Now, if we use kanji here, it actually does mean like a place to wash your hands. But whenever somebody refers to a bathroom, they pretty much always use toire, which comes from toilet. So if they have to use the bathroom, they say, toire, doko desu ka? Or something like that. Alright, next we have
強い
tsuyoi, strong,
弱い
yowai, weak,
きれいな
kireina, pretty,
醜い
minikui, ugly. So, strong, weak, pretty, and ugly, these are adjectives, and you're actually seeing two kinds of adjectives right now. Kirei na, yeah, there's a reason why they actually put a space there, because this is considered a na adjective. We'll be learning more about those later. In the meantime, bathroom, otearai, or toire. Strong, tsuyoi.
強い
Tsuyoi. Weak,
弱い
yowai. Pretty,
きれいな
kireina. Ugly,
醜い
minikui. Here's some sentences I came up with.
あなたは強いですか
Anata wa tsuyoi desu ka? You'll probably hear a lot about how strong something is in, like, Pokemon. And then,
お
where's
手
the
洗いは
bathroom?
どこですか
Tearai wa doko desu ka? I'll translate that as where is the washroom, not necessarily bathroom, but hey. And now we have memory. My favorite.
きれいな
Oh. Minikui. どうしていつ強い
強い
どこ
どこ
どうしていつ when
いつ
どうして
どうして
お手洗い
お手洗い
手洗い誰醜い
醜い何弱い誰
誰 There we go. That's 10 right out of 10. Excellent. Asking questions is very important when you go to a foreign country. You're sure to see a lot of things you don't understand. Be sure to practice making sentences, both ones that are questions and ones that aren't. How do you expect to learn Japanese without practicing it? Speaking of practice, let's get you some more of it. Hit a word. We're back to this. And this one does support kana.
醜い
どうして
どう
Perfection.
して
Strong. 強い
強い
Pretty. 綺麗な
きれいな
That was close. 弱い
弱い
Wait, itsu. Itsu. Gotta think about it.
いつ
Gotta think about, like, pitch accents sometimes. Dare.
誰
Doko.
Doko
Otearai. Ugh.
お手洗い
Nani. Ugh. It was difficult to move my mouse. Okay, I'm really proud of your progress. You're doing great. Is that a hint towards our next lesson? Oh, we're doing numbers again. Way back in lesson 2, I told you that numbers weren't too useful without counters to show how the numbers are used. Now I'm going to tell you more about counters. Ah, okay. Remember, counters go after the number to tell what is being counted. Before we covered n, the yen counter, and nen, the year counter. The counters that we covered before were easy. This is because all we had to do was put the number in front and the counter afterwards. Most type of counters use a different way of pronouncing the numbers. There are hundreds of different counters, so I won't be covering them all. Instead, I'm going to cover just one counter, the one for general use. You could get away with using this counter for most purposes. Wait. I don't think that's actually the general counter. You know what? Let me look this up really quick. I'm gonna go on Lorenzi's G-Show. I'm gonna type in Ikko. One thing, one piece, one item. And then I'm gonna type Hitotsu. I feel like the ko counter is supposed to be used for, like, smaller things. Like you would use them with apples. Let's see. Counter for small things or pieces, counter for military units, an individual one person. Yeah, the general purpose counter is actually tsu, and it's just the kanatsu all the time. Oh, I guess there is a kanji for it, but it's rarely used. So yeah, this is for counting stuff like apples. General things, it would actually be tsu. Whatever. Let's just go with what the game throws at us right now.
1個
Ikko,
2個
Nikko,
3
Sanko,
4
Yonko,
5個
Gokko. This is how you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 objects. One is an irregular. Instead of ichiko, we say ikko. Some of the numbers don't sound the same as they usually do, right? This is because it's using a different reading for the kanji of the numbers. This will make more sense when we cover kanji. There's no harm in letting you know what's coming, right? Here are the other numbers, up to 10. Rokko,
6個
nanako,
7個
8個、
9個、
9個、 10
10
個.
個、
Oh, 10個. So, yeah, we have a bunch of other irregulars. We have 6個 and 10個. I guess technically we can say 7個, but like I've said before in the previous part, 7 and 7, when used like by themselves, they're kind of interchangeable, from what I can tell. Time to get some practice in. Easy word search. Just look for ko.
8個、4個、10個、5個、1個、2個、6個、9個、3個、7個。
There we go. That hardly helps. I don't know, maybe it does. Let's try using these in sentences. To connect them to what you're talking about, use a no particle. 10 apples.
10
10個のリンゴ。10個のリンゴ。6 chairs.
6個の椅子。
6個の椅子。10個のリンゴ。6個の椅子。Actually, I just realized I never started actually recording. I am streaming, but I'm not actually recording. So, oops to that. I can always download it. If I need to preserve it, but I probably don't need to. Don't forget to try using these in sentences, and you should be able to write all of these in hiragana by now. Practice, practice, practice. Let's do another game to help you with your mastery. 4個、
4個、
1個、
1個、
10個、
10個、
6個、
6個、
9個、
9個、
5個、
5個、
3個、
3個、
7個、
7個、
8個、
8個、
2個。Easy peasy. We went through that pretty quickly. Now that we've got the counters covered, let's get going on some larger numbers next time. Alright, so we got 5 more lessons we're doing here. But let's give ourselves a quick break before we do that. We've been running this on for quite a while, so I think we all need to take a break and hydrate. And I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Just got myself a bit of a snack, had some water, and we're ready to do the next 5 lessons here. So, just to be clear with people, you would not typically study Japanese like these lessons all at once like this. They would be, my Japanese coach actually has on the back of the box, it says 15 to 20 minutes a day studying Japanese. That's pretty much the recommendation. But I think even more time than that would go into like writing sentences. Although I think it is by this point that you can actually start writing a bunch of sentences. Oh yeah, and you can also use the reference book. If I could go to it really quick. Yeah, you could go to reference, dictionary, and you can search for a word. Like, let's see.
Wani.
Yes, just so you know, this is the word for an alligator or a crocodile.
Wani.
Wani. You might have heard this word from a game called I Wani Hug That Gamer or Gator. That's a visual novel, I think. I've actually been meaning to get that one just to see what it's like. I ought to like try out some visual novels. Plus, it would be great to like actually be able to hug a gator, you know? I mean, am I that huggable? Do I look huggable to you? Do I look huggable to you, viewers? Give me a thumbs up if you think so. It could be in the chat, it could be in the comments, or you could hit the like button on YouTube. Alright, let's get back to it. Oh, hi, Juanevo. I didn't know you were still here. Thanks. Alright, so next, we're going to do our next 5 lessons, starting with lesson 16. But first, here we have Sanrio Puto Land. The theme park is run by the Sanrio Company and is host to various attractions and theme rides using popular characters such as Hello Kitty and many more. I'm actually not sure how popular Hello Kitty is in, like, America in comparison to Japan. I'm pretty sure it's, like, very popular in Japan in comparison to here, because I think we only seem to really get toys. At least that was like that for a while. Alright, let's take a step back and do something a little easier. Suji sono ni. Numbers, part 2. When you want to say larger numbers than 10, simply put 10 before the next number. This works up to 19. Anything larger than that, and you'll want to put the number before the 10, then another one after the 10. So 22 would be 210-2 in English. Here's some examples to work off of. See how up to 19 there's nothing before the 10?
16
16
17
17 18
19
19
20
20. So 10-6, 10-7, 10-8, 10-9, and then 2-10. That's how it would literally be translated. That said, however, they decided to swap to nana here for 17 instead of chi. Okay, you know what? This is really bugging me. When do you use shichi, instead of nana? Unless you're, doing months. Is it really, interchangeable? I'm just Googling this right now. Let's see. I'm looking at this blog post from Step Up Japanese. Nana is used in ages and in big numbers, but shichi must be used in the month and the o'clock. And in the Reddit thread, shichi versus nana for 7, if I recall correctly, my sensei told us that it was because it's very unusual to use shi or shichi for larger numbers, so it would make sense to use yon and nana. Edit, that being said, it's good to have the knowledge that there are 2 words for each, just in case you hear it in conversation. Edit again, I also seem to recall one of them was because of some sort of superstition. Probably the she, because, well, she could also be associated with death, because she knew. It's a sort of cultural thing. So yeah, it seems for the most part we would use nana, but we would use shichi for the month and the o'clock. So there you go. Learn something new every day. I mean, some of you watching are already learning a lot, but I was talking about myself. Also, there's no need to put a 0 in for multiples of 10 as shown below. So 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 60, and 70, 70. Here's some mixed words to study. 42,
42
91,
91
Here's some larger numbers to work with. 80,
80
80, 90, 90, and 100,
100
100, and then number for good measure,
数字
Suzy. Need to say something bigger than 100? Use the same pattern as the tens. So 175 is
175
what? 175. What the hell, game? It's probably 175. I confused. 175. Like, if it's in between hyaku and something else. Whatever. It'll probably come up somewhere in immersion anyway. Or maybe it doesn't matter that much in the long run. Anyway, 298 would be...
298
That is a lot of letters for the Romaji. It's also a lot for... What is it? It's a lot for... Kana. So that would actually be a great time to, like, write kanji for this. And I guess if you want a sneak peek of that... Because I want to. Let me just open up Paint here. Let's see. Brushes. Okay, so we're doing 298. So it would be 2 ni 100 100 90 9 10 Hachi. Certainly a lot easier than the kana, isn't it?
298 298
All right, let's get back into what is it? The main scene. There we go. Ready to test out your knowledge? Multiple choice. 16. 16.
16
17. 17. 19. 19.
19
20. 20.
20
50. 50.
50
40. 40.
40
70. 70.
70
60. 60.
60
30. 30.
30
18. 18.
18
Yeah, you want to be careful. You don't want to confuse 17 with 70 or like 18 with 80. I guess those just learning English would have trouble with that too, now that I'm saying that stuff out loud. Let's do one more round of gaming to get you going. Hit a word. You know what? I don't feel like it. I could just skip that. The best way to practice your numbers is to keep counting, so get counting. That's it for the higher numbers. Next time we're going to finish the hiragana. Finally. Let's do it. Are you ready to finish your hiragana training? This lesson covers the last of the hiragana. I hope you've been practicing. If you can't read and write hiragana by the end of this lesson, you should review it. When you reach lesson 30, the focus is on real Japanese rather than romaji. Be ready for it. That is with a strong asterisk, by the way. You've seen how many times, even when I have kana enabled, there's some mini games that don't support kana for some stupid reason. There are only 6 more characters left of hiragana, so I'm going to start you on katakana in this lesson. There's a katakana character for every hiragana character. Here are the Y and W characters. Notice there's no yi or ye. So we have
ya,
ya,
yu,
yu,
yo,
yo. And then we have
wa,
wa,
o.
o. The last hiragana character is the singular n character. It's the only character without a vowel. Now, hang on. Okay, let's just go to writing these characters. So, yeah, another one. That is another kana that is written in the wrong stroke order. You don't write this first. As a matter of fact, you write this last. You do this first, you do that, and then you do that. It actually has a really nice flow if you write it this way. It is indeed, like, very irregular when it comes to, like, writing Japanese, because normally you would start from top to bottom, left to right, so you would think this would come first. Like, the way the game is showing you would make sense, but that is not the case. It's really strange when you think about it. Alright, next is you, which looks like a fish. I actually quite like writing this character. Not only because it looks like a fish, but the end of the first stroke can flow neatly into a second stroke with just, you know, you can kind of loop it. Yeah, it would be like that. And then we have yo. Okay, I actually don't know if that's the wrong stroke order. I think that's the one that goes first, but I'll have to check. I'll actually look this up right now. Let's see. Let's see. According to the Japan guy, Yeah, the short line is actually written first. So, yeah, that basically means this is another kana that teaches you the wrong stroke order. It's written like that. It actually looks a bit like a cursive L, in a way. Alright, next we have wa. We've seen two lookalikes of this already, so again, watch out. So wa curves inward like this. It does not have the loop like the nu does. Ne, sorry. It doesn't have the loop like the ne. It doesn't have the tail out like re. Instead, it curves in. That is wa. And then we have o. So, typically it can be written in Romaji as wo, but it's actually pronounced as o, just like o. Know what I mean? Now, this o is only ever used as a particle. It is, like, never used in any Japanese words, so you don't have to worry about it. Like, worry about confusing o. With enough exposure, you'll know that o will come before a verb, because, well, o is the direct object particle. Now, o can be quite tricky to write. That actually was pretty good. So think of it like you're making an H here, I guess, and then slice it through there. And then we have That's an easy one. It even looks like a letter N, just with an elongated, I don't know what you would call this part. It's been a very hot minute since I've, like, used any typography words. But there you go. The Y characters are special. They can be put with other characters to make other sounds. In order to do that, they need to be drawn smaller than usual. They also need to be right after another character that ends with I, or E. So, ki small ya becomes kya. Chi small yo becomes cho. Before moving on to the katakana, there's something else that should be mentioned. The small tsu character. The small tsu character can be used to hold out a consonant sound. When writing in Romaji, the consonant is written twice. So we have itta and kekka as examples. Itta is the past tense of, no, not idu. I think it's iu. The past tense of iu. And kekka is, I think it's, result, I think? now let's start on katakana. Katakana is mostly used for foreign words like America and anime. Anime is short for animation. Here are the vowels in katakana. You'll notice that katakana is much more angular than hiragana. So we have a, I, U, E, O. So now let's practice writing these. Kind of looks like an arrow. I mean, you can also kind of see an A here. Kind of. Next is I. Getting the balance right on that is a little tricky. You kind of have to have it set a little bit to the right, as seen in the example there. U. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's another one with the wrong stroke order. Ay, how many of these are we gonna have? We don't write it like this. We write like that. Left to right, and then go down, left to right. It looks like an I with serifs. Alright, and then we have O. One, two, three. Alright, that's enough of that. So let's test it out. Alright, so notice it actually specifies that we gotta write the katakana A. So that's what we gotta do. That should have given it to me, but it did. Uh-oh.
Yo.
Oh no, it doesn't take that stroke order? Oh no, I gotta purposefully write it wrong. Oh no, I feared the day this would happen.
It.
It seems to be safe though.
It.
Next is N. O.
O. O. O.
Yeah. Oh, the mouse didn't do well for me there.
Yeah.
1, 2. Oh,
Yeah.
that actually was incorrect. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay, that still gives it to me. Excellent.
What?
So it seems like Yo, strangely, is the only one that just won't give it to me.
What? I. 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 You. 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 O.
Oh.
う、う、う、
There we go. So we actually did 11 of those this time. I guess fading characters had the room for that, unlike some of the other mini-games. Remember, you should be ready to write all words in hiragana by now. Try to write more words in hiragana. It will really help your practice. On that note, it's time to get some practice in. I'm not gonna do it again. Alright, next time we'll cover some greetings. Greetings are always useful. Alright, let's do that. When trying to learn a foreign language, it's always good to know a few basic phrases. They're always helpful. Recently, I've been teaching things that require a lot of thought, but phrases just require memorization. I figured that it's time to give you a break. So here are some phrases. We have, how are you? Genki desu ka? I am fine. Genki desu. I briefly touched upon that earlier.
あなたは
Anata wa. And you? We would say that following, I am fine. Or you can even just say anata wa when you're like mentioning like it basically means about you. What about you? So you could use that in any way you like.
どうもありがとう
Domo arigato. Thank you very much. Okay, I have to make this reference. Domo arigato, Mr. Digital Roboto. Domo. I don't think I sang that right, but yeah, that's how people know about domo arigato. And then we have you're welcome.
どういたしまして
Do itashimashite. Although I don't really seem to hear that one very often. I don't recall hearing that through like my immersion. Maybe I just didn't look hard enough. I don't know. Alright. You can add gozaimasu instead of at the end of Ohio to make it more polite. Don't forget to check your pronunciation.
おはよ
Ohio. And then if you want to make that more polite, you would say Ohayo gozaimasu. Yeah, Mr. Roboto. I don't really know much about it, but I know the song. Primarily because Gex referenced it in Enter the Gecko through one of his allowed lines. Like, if you put in a cheat code. Ohio. Yeah, there's definitely a joke to make there somewhere. Anyway, when we say good evening, we say
こんばんは
konbanwa. So remember konnichiwa? Konnichiwa quite literally means this day. Konbanwa is basically this evening. So good evening, konnichiwa, good day, or a general hello.
おい
Oi! Yeah, that's how we say hey in Japan. We say oi.
すみません
All right, and then we have sumimasen
ごめん
and gomen. You can add nasai to make it more polite, so it's gomen nasai. Sumimasen and gomen nasai are two ways to say sorry. Sumimasen, I believe, has like more utility than just saying sorry, but gomen nasai is basically please forgive me. You would just say gomen if you're, like, saying this to your friends. Alright, let's play a little game to help you get used to them. Genki desu ka?
元気ですか？
どうもあ
どうも
りがとう。
ありがとう。
元気で
元
す。
気です。
おはよう。
おはよう。
どういたし
どうい
まして。
たしまして。
ごめん。
ごめん。
あなたは
あなたは
おい。
おい。
すみません。
すみません。
こんばんは。
こんばんは。
You know, I think you deserve a new game. You've been doing very well. Flashcards.
すみません。
Oh, I think we've actually done this before.
こんばんは。おはよう。
おはよう。
元気ですか？どうもありがとう。あなたはごめん。元気です。どういたしまして。おい。
There we go. When I'm doing the flashcards, I actually mainly rely on listening instead of reading. It's a lot easier for me. Because I can't read Japanese that quickly. And besides, in the highest difficulty, it's audio only anyway, so... Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the easy lesson. I'll be teaching verb types and conjugation in the next lesson. Oh! That's a biggie. I wonder how this is gonna end up. Now it's time to start using verbs in sentences. You're doing great for getting this far. When we want to use a verb in a sentence, we can use the mas form. No matter what kind of verb it is, it will end with mas when it's in mas form. A verb with mas is non-past. This means that it could be either present tense or future tense. That could be a little confusing, especially at first. Yeah, I went over that previously. Since it could be future or present tense, the sentence "watashi wa tabemasu" can be either of the two sentences below. I will eat, as in I'm going to eat in the future, or I eat, that's what I do. Check out these conjugated verbs and see if you can determine how they were conjugated. So, will go, or I go.
行きます。
Ikimasu. And will see.
見ます。
Mimasu. Now let's... just so you know, ikimasu comes from iku, and mimasu comes from miru. Miru. Now let's use these in sentences. Remember, there are three main parts of a sentence: the subject, or topic, the object, and the verb. I'll repeat this again. The subject and the topic are not the same thing, usually. They're not the same thing. We need a special type of word called a particle to show how words are used in a sentence. Remember, we mark the topic of the sentence with the wa particle. To mark the direct object of a sentence, we use the particle o. Remember that it goes right after the word that is the direct object of the verb. So how do you know what the direct object is? It's the word that the verb acts on in Japanese or in English. So for the phrase, Johnny walked to the store is not the direct object. The walking didn't happen to the store. The store wouldn't afterwards say, "Man, I just got walked." You know, this game can kind of have a sense of humor sometimes. But in the phrase Johnny ate the sushi is the direct object. This eating happened to the sushi. Here's some sentences with verbs and direct objects. So, Terakami ate sushi.
寺上さんは寿司を食べました。
Terakami-san wa sushi o tabemashita. Okay, you would not... Okay, so you would not, like... A sane person would not write this with no spaces if it's kana only. They would add spaces. Alright, then we have Ueno will read a book.
上野さんは本を読みます。
Ueno-san wa hon wo yomimasu. The game is self-aware, huh? Don't forget that the verb goes at the end of the sentence. Learning how to make sentences correctly is important in any language. Here's some more verbs to play around with. Just so you know, you should use ga instead of o with the verb wakaru. I will tell you more about ga later. Where is wakaru? In the next page. No! Why are you telling me about wakaru if I'm not going to be learning that verb? Why are you spoiling this for me, Gabe? You're giving me too much. Well, anyway, I guess we'll just forget about it and learn these words. We have eat,
食べる
taberu. If we convert that into mas form, we would say tabemasu. We have to read,
読む
yomu. And we put that in mas form, it becomes yomimasu. This game will talk about it later, but there are actually like two different kinds of verbs. Ichidan, one form verbs, and godan, 5 form verbs. It's not necessarily form, but that's what's in my head right now. One form, ichidan, you just drop the ru, tabe, add mas, tabe mas. Read, we change mu to me. Godan verbs, they use, for example, with yomu, ma, mi, mu, me, mo. We change it to me and then add mas, yomi mas. You don't have to worry about that right now if you're not comfortable with it, but it is something you will have to learn later. Alright, so to meet,
会う
au, to write,
書く
kaku, hurry,
急ぐ
isogu. Here's some words that can work well as direct objects. So, speak,
話す
hanasu. To see,
見る
miru. To go,
行く
iku. To do, suru. To come,
来る
kuru. Time to practice these words. Think of how you can use them in sentences. Alright, word search will be very quick. Miru,
見る
kaku,
書く
kuru,
来る
hanasu,
す
suru,
る読む
isogu,
急ぐ
taberu.
食べる
Go and meet. Oh,
会う
out.
行く
I'm not sure if this will come up when I'm doing this, but if you actually take a long time to find another word in the word search, one of the available words will actually shake a little bit to kind of give you a hint. Or I think it's actually just one of the letters. So you'll know, oh, this is where it is. But since I know the words pretty well, you probably won't see that happen. Alright. We can also replace the mas with other things to use the verb differently. Using this, we can make verbs past tense, negative, or negative past tense. All that we need to change is the mas. We can change it into mashita to make it past tense. We can also change it to masen to make it negative. Lastly, we can change the mas into masen deshita in order to make it past negative. These different tenses work just like with the different tenses of des. Using verbs is important. So, flashcard time.
会う、
To meet,
読む、
to read,
話す、
to speak,
来る、
to come,
行く、
to go,
書く、
to write,
見る、
to look or see,
急ぐ、
to hurry,
する、
to do,
食べる。
to eat. Really is a lot easier if I just listen. I hope you're getting used to making sentences in Japanese. If not, it's time to go back to review some lessons. Remember how there was a formal and informal form of des? I'll explain informal forms of verbs soon. But that won't be the next lesson. The next lesson's more kana. It'll be the lesson after that. Alright, so this will be the last lesson of the night. Are you ready for more katakana? I know I am. This time I'll be covering the K, S, and M characters. Remember how the K and S characters can use the dakuten to make different sounds? It's the same for katakana. Do you remember what sounds they become? The K turns into a G, and the S turns into a Z. Let's get going then. Here are the katakana K characters.
か、
Ka,
き、
ki,
く、
ku,
け、
ke,
こ。
ko. And let's practice writing them. Good that they got that right. Next is ki. In a way, it kind of does look like a strange-looking key, if you think about it. Maybe if I draw this... Yeah, it looks like a key, don't it? Alright, next is ku. Now, be sure not to confuse ku with ke. This part extends out a little more, and it becomes 3 strokes instead of 2. 1, 2, 3, as opposed to, geez, there's no back button. As opposed to 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. And then we have ko. Don't know why they wrote it so high. But, alright, there we go. And these are the katakana S characters.
さ、
Sa,
し、
shi,
す、
su,
せ、
se,
そ。
so. Wait a minute, did they say they were going through the K, S, and M characters? Because normally after S you would do T. Why would they change that up like that? I don't understand. Well, let's practice writing these characters. Sa. Normally, the order for learning is, what is it? The order for learning, like, the tables of the kana, it would be no vowel first, then it would be K, S, T, N, H, M, Y, R, and then, well, Un. Don't know if I'm missing anything. Okay. Next, we have she. Now, this is super important. 1, 2, stroke upward, 3. If you think about it, this is the hiragana for she. It's basically doing that same motion. 1, 2, 3. That is an easy way to help you remember. And I'm stressing this because there is another character that looks extremely similar. This character. This is Tsu. That one, if you remember the hiragana Tsu, it looks like this. It has that flow as well. That is something to be extremely mindful of. Alright, next we have Su. It's almost like a half a soup bowl. There's another mnemonic for you. Next we have Se. Fairly similar to the hiragana Se, as you can see there. Just more angular. And then So. Another very important kana when it comes to stroke order. Down, down, and sweeping like that. There's another katakana character that looks very similar to that, and it's written like this. That is That one, you kind of just have to know, I think. Let's see, what is, oh, so is this in hiragana, so that doesn't help at all. Alright, there's probably some other way you can tell the difference, but, yeah, So sweeps down, sweeps up. It's important to know the difference between those kana. The M characters can't use the Dakuten or Handakuten. There's one less thing to worry about.
Ma,
Mi,
mi,
me,
me,
mo. I don't know why they decided to do the M characters now. Okay, so ma. Next we have mi. Now, this one's actually really interesting. it actually looks like the kanji for 3, san. And, mi is actually one of the alternate readings for the kanji for 3. You'll actually see this when you're referring to the 3rd day of something. It would be said as mitsu. Or, no, not mitsu. That's 3 things. Mika. So, yeah, it actually kind of makes sense. Just something to keep in the back of your mind on your Japanese learning journey. In the meantime, this is mi, the katakana mi. M. Next we have me, which kind of looks like a dagger. And then mo. And this is written correctly, just so you know. That is written correctly. 1, 2, 3. The M characters can't use the duct. Oh, you're just saying the same thing there. No point in just rushing through. Let's get some practice writing them out.
Ko.
Cool. That's our first one.
Ko.
Now we probably have to write these 15 times, so...
Su.
You know what? Let me just press start there. You really should finish the game if you want to learn the language. Yeah, you could just press start to interrupt the game, and I could just skip forward there because I know I'm going to be doing write cards, which is basically the same thing, just without any sort of preview.
Se. Ki.
Ku. It's this one.
Ku.
Mo.
Mo.
So. It's this.
So.
Mi.
Mi.
Ma.
Ma.
Me. I got the order wrong. Oops. Ka.
Ka.
Ko.
Ko.
Mu. It's this.
Mu.
Shi.
Shi.
Sa. It's this.
Sa.
Su.
Su.
Ke. 2, 3.
Ke.
There we go. Only 2 more lessons on katakana, and you'll be all finished with learning kana. If you haven't switched over to kana instead of romaji, I highly recommend that you do. Okay. So that will be the last lesson for today. So, next time, we will be doing these lessons. 21. Informal verbs, finishing up kana. Verb bases, that's actually going to be kind of a doozy. Some particles and talking about family. Those will be the lessons that will be dealt with next time. So, thank you for watching. Mite kurete arigato. And I will see you next time. Mata ne! Man, this stream went on longer than I thought it would.